Welcome to the Immerse podcast. We are your hosts, Alex O'Keefe and Dan Ramsden.
We aim to immerse you in education via our guests, bring communities together, embrace positive change and help create solid habits that yield the path for our health and longevity.
Right, here we go. Luke Ambler, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, buddy.
Welcome, mate.
Might not be quite as aesthetically pleasing as your last guest, Mark Dean, but hopefully the voice will make up for it.
It's alright, we'll just stick with audio.
Yeah, just edit my body on a bit of AI and never do any damage in it.
In a few months, mate, you'll be as peeled as Mark.
Yeah, probably fitter, but I don't mind you.
I've got to say, this is a first sauna experience with socks on. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's cold outside of this sauna, isn't it? So it will do some damage to the bottom of the feet if I'm being honest. That concrete floor
that concrete floor is pretty rough, isn't it?
It's warming up now though. So
Luke's had a history of going against the status quo. Let's start there, and we're going to delve into that, mate.
Is that what the socks are? Yeah,
that's where it starts.
Statement of intent.
There you go.
So, for people that don't know you, mate, there's various podcasts that you've been on already where people approach you and talk about a standout achievement, which is Andy's Man Club, obviously. Today's episode, mate, we're going to come in at a different angle.
Exciting.
Because aside from AMC, you are a very impressive entrepreneur, athlete, father, a human being. So I think this podcast, mate, if anyone's listening and thinking I want to hear loads about AMC, there's tons of podcasts out there.
Yep.
I'll point you in that direction if that's where you want to go. But for this one, we're going to really break you down, mate, as an entrepreneur.
Love it.
A savage entrepreneur. Someone who I personally look up to, mate, as a friend. Put that out there. You've helped me a lot over the last few years. So I want to say thank you for that, mate.
I appreciate that.
Too soppy.
No, good, get soppy, mate. It's good that.
Likewise as well, though. I don't know whether you remember this, but you helped me last year as well. We were doing a presentation. So obviously, public speaking is something that you're in your realm.
Yep.
And it were a case of I'm a bit out of my depth here. It's something that it's like refining skills, isn't it? When you start presenting yourself
100%.
on camera, video, audio, etc., but then going out in front of public and keeping an audience engaged in your content is a challenge, and it can be pretty nerve-wracking. So, and you helped me with that straight away. So, for nothing as well, you just took the time out to sit down with me, break it down, and it made me feel a lot easier about going into it. So I want to thank you for that as well.
I always love that.
Yeah.
Start with gratitude, eh?
That's it.
Big gratitude, man.
Place to start, isn't it? So yeah, mate. So obviously, you started with these entrepreneurial thoughts at a young age.
Yeah.
But to round it up for people that might not know you, mate, straight away, founder of Andy's Man Club, co-founder, used to play professional rugby. You've run multiple businesses in the past. You've got 3 beautiful children.
Yep.
And you've got a lovely missus in the form of Lisa. That rounds it up, mate, really, doesn't it? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think, where do you want to start with that? And we can sort of unpick some of that, can't we?
Yeah.
Which angle do you want to go?
I think I'd like to start, mate, right at the beginning, early days.
Yeah.
And try and understand, like I said earlier, you seem to have gone against the status quo from a very young age.
Yeah.
Challenge the norm.
Yes.
As our tagline states, Dan. And you've done that from a young age, mate, so I want to try and unpick that and find out why you started challenging the norm from a young age, basically.
Yeah, so usually when I've been on a podcast we talk about mental health, because I'm had a car crash in 08, and I'm going to go through some of the challenges I had being a big kid. But actually on the nice side of all that, for the probably 10% of shit that felt like the 100% of the time, I had a very good upbringing. Mum and dad both great human beings. My mum's actually the entrepreneur of the two, which no one knows. So I
never knew that.
Yeah, so my mum, growing up, she had a job in a factory. That's where a lot of people worked back then. But then she approached the big boss who no one dared speak to, and he gave her a sewing machine so she could make her own curtains. So she made curtains and clothes for people, and then she had her own cafe. So she was the, you know, only when I look back, she was the entrepreneurial type. My dad also has his own business, but more, he probably won't class himself necessarily as an entrepreneur, but he's really good at what he does. When my parents separated, my dad won custody. And when I was younger, I always wanted to be just like my dad. I wanted to be a joiner and a builder. So I'd got Wilkinson's, if you remember Wilkinson's, Wilco's. I went there one day, bought a little belt, and I'd go knocking on neighbours' doors, and I'd ask them, could I dig some weeds up, or could I do any job for them? And it escalated into digging weeds, walking the dog, walking to the shop for the paper. I had this little round of next door but one, next door but two. You know, like Luke the handyman it were called, and I'd go, and then I'd try and make them benches, because I'd rejoin them with a little setup at home, so I'd be trying to do stuff like that.
How old were they? How old were you here?
6 to 9.
Right.
Really young.
Yeah.
And I used to just love all that, and I always remember that's what I wanted to do. And my dad always said to me, not that you don't have to have things, I just remember always saying to me that you're destined for more than this, because he was coming home from he's a single parent, he's grafting 12 hours a day. It's probably not it wasn't as glamorous then being a trade as it probably is now, and trade's hard now. But what was many regulations, health and safety, like then it was just shit, when it was 12-hour days, people grafting, he was slinging slabs around all day. You don't want to be like me, he said, you want to use your brains. And even on every bit of my journey, being a rugby player, I always had a side hustle, so
Why do you think that is?
I just always loved it. I've always loved business. So people don't understand that about me. People think my big passion is mental health. It's a passion, but actually I love business. So Alex will know this, that I love numbers. I'm a bit of a numbers nerd in all facets. So I'll work numbers out on registration plates and what. You know, and I'll do maths. I'm constantly doing maths. It's like I just love it. I love percentages. I love profit and loss. I should have probably gone into accountancy. It's a proper nerdy thing that no one will know that about me, other than probably you who I speak numbers about. So it maybe stops me in some cases with business, because it means I'm not impulsive, because I've got to know that the numbers are there for it to work. But I've also had a lot of failures. So in the entrepreneur scheme, to give you a bit of a journey, we did that, and I became a window cleaner, but I never cleaned the windows myself. I got a lad to do it for me straight away. This was a 16-year-old before I could even drive, carried a ladder around. He'd go around Old Hand, the Old Hand way. It worked for a little bit, but then where I really started to kick on was when I started doing market stalls. So I used to do market stalls. Again, it was never me doing it. I had 2 lads doing it. I used to let them have my car on a Friday night. 2 young lads my age, they'd love driving around while I was playing rugby. They'd go and sell all my lampshades and my Ugg boots and the rest of it over at Leeds Market. Give them a tenner each for a sandwich and a day rate, and then they'd come and drop money and stock off on a Saturday night. Then it just progressed. The Ugg boots were a big one, and then it were like... obviously did the coffee shop, and it's just been a progression there to what I'm doing now. But there've always been some, whether it's importing. The one that really fucked me up was a guy who I played rugby with had started a supplement company, so I went all in on it. 50. This will make you understand why I don't like debt. I'd gone 17-year-old out of Salford. I bought 1,500 quid's worth so we could sell it. We sold a bit, but I lost a lot of money, and I was stuck in this $2,000 overdraft. At 17-year-old with very little money coming in, there were a lot of pressure. So every time my little 500 quid for being in the academy had come in, it'd go straight out. They'd just get chewed up by this overdraft, and it were crippling. In fact, I've never really told him that. Crippling every month, every time my payment came in. And I had this fucking stock sat in my dad's house that were like protein powders of what these guys are trying to go. And that was probably my biggest lesson in business. Then about not taking chances, for me anyway.
That's very early to learn a lesson like that, which is valuable. I think going back to that, and instantly you've spoken about your family dynamics being different to the norm, you know, in terms of your dad getting custody for you, him working a lot. So through the day, I'm guessing, you know, we didn't have technology like we do now, and we weren't preoccupied. So your mind is thinking about, well, what can I do next? I'm guessing, you know, and then being proactive with your time as a young age. And I think that's probably something valuable for people to go, you know what, how are we living our lives now as families and stuff like that, and it's completely different, isn't it?
Completely, yeah.
And you know, you're a monster, savage, like in business, and you're getting out there. You've done lots of things, lots of personal achievements, and something that I look up to as well. And it's like, well, if you look at the dynamics of how you've been raised, and you know, your dad's obviously done a great job.
Yeah.
So it's something again that's slightly different. So, you know, I think it's just something to consider, isn't it? You know, we have a lot of comfort now, don't we?
Yes.
And particularly with mothers, you know, babying their children or shoving an iPad in front of the nose, you know, straight away. And I think it's taking all this creative energy away from us, and that's something that I've just picked up straight away that was different about you. You know, from a young age, you've not had that, and you've also had a dad and a masculine figure.
Very masculine,
not, you know, not as much as a. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with female energy and stuff, but it's again a little bit different, isn't it?
Well, actually, all stats align with suicide. People go to prison. Knife crime is not having a strong male role model figure, and if you just look at that in a different way, because there'll be a lot of mums listening of that, but it's not my fault, partner left, and it's not. But the kids need a strong male role model figure, and it don't have to just come in the fact of family. Football coach, rugby coach, get them into boxing. You know, so I was very fortunate that I did actually have a really good mum. I've still got a really good mum. So kind and caring. Then on the flip side, I also had a very hard-working, strong, masculine dad who had high standards, and there were standards that were very high. I always said when I had kids, if I could be half man Evie's, I'd have done a good job, because of a lot we'll get into it, challenging arm about where I was very different as a teenager to a lot of my friends, what they were doing. But my dad had exceptionally high standards, but not in a way that it felt detrimental. There were just certain things as three guys living in a house together, you know, that were acceptable and and how we carried ourselves and what we believed in. And you know, my dad wanted a drinker, still in, didn't never smoke, never gambled. They were just like underpinning values that sort of we just all bought into. It was just a non-negotiable. That's just what we do and what we did. So it were an interesting one.
It's a winning mentality straight away, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's an anchor, isn't it?
Yes.
So obviously I've spoke to your dad quite a bit. Big Dunks, big shout out to Dunks, what a man. I remember him telling us stories about his father.
Yes.
So always when you think about it, it's like breaking that sort of generational curse.
Yes.
Where Dunks referred to some quite harrowing stories about his father, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's like what I'm getting out of that is that your dad's seen maybe not how to be the best father.
Yeah. It's all the worst of the worst of a man, a man could be.
Yeah.
You know, my granddad, kids to different women, and it'd be one kid with my grandma, one kid with his other wife, one kid with my grandma, one kid with a very wealthy man, big builder. I've built all dam up at Scamenden. You know, big builder in demo world as well. Kids were very poor, very, very poor. Raging alcoholic, come home, beat everyone up, man, woman, child, didn't care. So my dad saw that, and my dad always talks about a story where he saw the anger in his eyes, and he promised himself as a teenager, if I ever have kids, I'll never be like that. And how he brought us up. You know, I've never seen my dad drunk, never seen him. You know, I've never seen him drunk. Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I've just never seen out like that. You know, but yeah, one of my best pals in it. So I think he brought that curse. And I think I'm a big believer in strong male role models. I think the world's lacking that, and I think as a heterosexual male at times it's often hard to where we fit, because we're sort of bombarded that, you know, that equality, which I agree with in a lot of senses, but should also be this thing, and you know, we talk about this a lot, that, you know, men are now still meant to be a protector, still meant to be a provider, but then also meant to also make banana cake with the kids and can play with them all the time and do all this stuff, which is great if you're able to do it, but it's also like we've also got to set the standard. That's why you should have different roles in parenting. You know, that dad should be the one that is a bit stricter, and you know, we have a bit of a laugh at that at home sometimes. That's what I bring home. I might come straight from Inverness, and there might be some at a standard, you know, that I think that it still needs to be met. You know, I don't think they should be got to bed too late. I don't think they should be on technology that much, and there's sort of standards that we have in our house that I'm now seeing the benefits of with my kids.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look back throughout the history of your life, they can't really argue with that because of the achievements and, you know, professional rugby league, you know, and it's one of the hardest sports, you know, I'm sure you agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, and the values that you learn along the way when you play a game like that, you know, you can't be a prima donna in a team in rugby league.
No.
It's a little bit different in it, you know, you've got to muck in, you've got to work hard, really hard, otherwise you lose.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it's all them values that lead up to that point where it's like, well, I can't argue with that as a kid looking at the dad.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's there in history. You've earned it, done it, and then carried it through into other things moving forward. So yeah, it's interesting that just the difference in family dynamics straight away.
Yeah, because it's not the norm, is it? You know,
No.
just to be brought up
No.
by a man, which then to mix the not normal. So also a little funny when I'm thinking that I missed out on the entrepreneur bit is so when you're on about, you know, technology and stuff, we were actually a technology family, but not the modern technology family. So my dad and brother enjoyed gaming. So they enjoyed Counter-Strike. People will remember this, the Counter-Strike on PCs. Do you even know about Counter-Strike?
It rings a bell.
It's like the current COD. It's just a game that people, gamers would play on PCs.
Yeah,
So we were like one of the first houses, even though like probably wouldn't have had much money, to have a 1 meg line. So we were like one of the first people to have not the dial-up, the other type of internet, which we'd probably not name of it now, but that's what we had. So because we had that, we had good PC systems. I used to sell CDs at school on a big scale. So every day I'd go into school, there'd be another girl or lad would come to me, these are your 13 songs, can you do them for me, Luke? And I had a competitor, one of my best mates, Reese's, but because of quality I offered, he used to try and cut me to a point. I remember once in a maths class, he said, mine might have been £3. He was like, well, I'll do it at 2. And they're like, no, we'll go with Ambler. So he always does as good. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do it for free. And like, no, Reese. Right, and he'll love this, Reese. They still went with me, and it was just like, it was a quality, you know, that I always wanted to make sure that we had. But then, when my friends started going out, because I had obviously this little side hustle, I went into that, and you know, what teenagers do, they start drinking, you know, and this is really nerdy to some people listening, but I never drank till 18, and I ran my dad on my 18th birthday. This is how mad it is when I look back. I'm out with rugby lads, I'm out with Salford, you know, with some big rugby lads, all proper, you know. He's like, I said, can I have a drink? And he says, he put phone down. I rang him back, he went, oh no, he said, get a grip, you're 18-year-old. And he put phone down. I rang him back, I went, is it alright? And he's like, look, you're 18, you're old enough to make your own decisions. You're out with rugby lads, go have a good night. Boom, you know, phone down, went out, had this night. But I've never been into that. I never got into the 15-year-old getting smashed on a park. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, by any stretch, but it just were never me. I've always been a bit weird, and I thought I like to go to bed early, I like to get up early. So when I've looked back on it, I went to a wedding recently, and everyone asked the question, why don't you drink? And because I'm not a teetotal, I've got a problem with drink, it makes it more confusing to people. If you said, no, I'm 5 years sober, it's like, okay, I'll leave you to it. When I said, never really drank, it confuses them. And because I was on this one trip where everyone were real big drinkers, I actually started thinking about it a little bit more than I would, and I went, do you know what it is? I don't like to sacrifice tomorrow for tonight, because I don't, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice the benefit I could have tomorrow with my kids or with what I want to do for this temporary feeling now. And that's what it is. Because even when I was younger, I never wanted to stay up till midnight, 2 a.m, because I'd rather go go-karting or go out running or go do something, go fucking play. Do you know what I mean? I always want to go do some shit that's fun during the day, and that's how I've always been. And it's quite interesting looking now how that was probably 15 years in advance of a lot of my friends and people now who are like, I don't drink anymore. I'm off it. I want to have a bit of get up early in the
delayed gratification at its finest, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's
really
so tough, like when you're around the people at school and everyone's doing it, aren't they? So it is a normal thing, isn't it? Like you say, you go to the park when you're 15, you know, fucking white, you know, what's it called?
White
lightning. You know, a bottle of white lightning and packet of cigs or whatever, and if you're not doing that, you're a fucking weirdo, aren't you?
It's a good sign though, isn't it, that wrong is wrong even if everyone's doing it, and right is right even if no one's doing it. And I think about that in a sense of, I'll tell you an honest conversation I had with Alfie the other day. So my son's not very natural in a lot of things by any stretch, but he's very, more I think about it, even though he's my stepson, we're very alike, whether he's 14 and how he trains now, or what his mindset's like. And he told me a story the other day which really shocked me, because I thought it'd take a while for this sort of mentality to come around. And he just says, I've been hearing hearing some people talk about me at school, you know, through his friends. So his friend told him, oh, so-and-so's been saying X, Y, Z, and it turned out, you know, you know how hard he trains.
Yeah.
He's not a naturally gifted runner. He's not naturally gifted CrossFitter. He has to work his arse off because, like me, technically, like I was at pool this morning, I'm awful. But he grafts. Anyway, a couple of kids are saying it's all right for him. He gets everything on a plate. He's gifted. You know, his body like, because he's very hungry, very competitive like me. So what he has done is he's gone into a gym at school and there's a board. He told me there's a board and they've wrote down over the past 5-10 years of opening that school, rower time, 1 minute, someone's name. It's been a different name than everyone. And he said to me, I'm going to take them all. I've got school record. So every week now he goes in. Every week he goes in now. 5 out of 8 says Alfie Roberts, Alfie Roberts, Alfie Roberts, Alfie Roberts, Alfie Roberts. He's like, I'll take over 3, I just haven't done them yet. So now obviously I get it. Kids are going to school. He's not going walking streets. He's not vaping.
Yeah.
He's not really like massively on his phone. He's not. So he's now followed a trend of like he's not normal. But why would you want to be normal?
Yeah.
My fees. And I woke up next day and said to him, you alright? He's like, you're overthinking this way more than me. So he said to me, and I went, and he goes, why would I care what he thought? He goes, why would I care what he thought? He goes, it's nothing note to my life. He goes, I've got my goals and I'm getting them.
That's big.
Wow.
Yeah, big. And I'm like, shit.
That's very mature, isn't it?
Very mature.
Isn't it?
And then
people listening could relate to that, right?
big. And I'm like, shit, that's big. And then I see him go out Tuesday morning with some animals. Absolute animals of people.
Yeah.
And he's up leading pack this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. He's surrounded by savages who are all lads who are pushing to it. Why does he give a shit what a kid who's maybe not into what he's into says? And it's the same thing for anyone listening. Like, and I was always like that at school. So that's why I think mad how stuff passed down subconsciously. Probably a message in that. What gives a fuck what someone thinks about you?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. You know, other people's. My saying is the add-on is, it's not my saying, but the add-on is that other people's opinions on your business, unless it affects your business, then it is your business. So, you know, if your wife thinks something about you, now it's your business and you need to have that discussion, don't you? If you're an employer or a client, you know, someone's got a problem, you need to have a chat, don't you? It doesn't mean you have to have confrontation. We live in a world now where we dare have opposing views without having to fall out. We can still agree and be friends and still get on. But we're just coming from different sides of the coin. I think this, you think that. Okay, we're not going to agree. It's cool, let's shake hands and still be friends.
I want to pick something out there that when you said that, you know, the kids at school were kind of saying, oh, Alfie's got it easy. That represents like a wider part of our culture.
Yes.
So they look at someone and someone's killing it. Alfie's running with us lot on a Tuesday morning, fucking front of pack. Someone's doing well in business and they look at it and go, he's killing it, he's had it easy, shite, you know. And I just want to say, like, I've personally seen Alfie grow over the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, 12 months, yeah.
12 months, mate. Exponential growth in the last 12 months. But because he works every single day.
Yes. I had this chat with Johnny. I says, be interesting when we get older, because we were talking about talent A, B, C, you know, about kids who just naturally can just go do things.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder when we're older, when Alfie's like 20, if he's still doing this stuff, if people look back and go, oh, he's just natural. And he's like, well, he won't, will he? Because I went, and now it's like within a year people are saying that. So I think what I've learned is another little lesson from this.
Comfortable with the uncomfortable, though.
Correct.
He's had to just keep doing the work and not be good at it at first.
Yeah.
It's like most things.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got to get good at it and get comfortable with it, and then it looks like you've got this God-given talent where it's like, no, you've been grinding quietly for a long time to get to this point.
We've got a friend who, I don't know how good he was in swimming pool, as an example, and I went today on my 4th, 5th session back in 2 years swimming, and it's starting to come together, and we've got a friend, Brooker, who we used to have a bit of banter in our little group that he's not the fastest, he's definitely not the strongest, probably not the fittest, but what he does do, and this is for anyone listening, is just every day, brick by brick, 1% better, and now he's running at front of the pack. Might not be the front, but from where he's come from, where he is inspiring. In pool, where he come from to where he is inspiring. And I give him, he's an ex-rugby lad, so I give him shit, but because I know that that's how rugby lads, we show love. Yeah, so it's different to me. You know, with Alex, we've had that, but might give him a little cuddle and say everything good with you. I can tell in your eyes you're a little bit off or whatever. Rocky, I'm going to say, okay, come on, let's go. You having it or what? You know, let's have it. You know, we'll give him shit about it because I know that's what he responds well to, and that's the different characters. But I want to put that on record, like just like how inspired I've been by him, but by anyone who just turns up each and every day, you know. And we've got a lot of killers in our group who just do that. They just turn up under the radar, you know, and that's very impressive to me. And that's what my son is a part of, seeing that.
Yeah.
And now my daughter, and that's what I want as a dad, as a strong male role model for my kids. Not just to see your dad's doing this, however, but these are a group of people. This is what I'm surrounding you with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, Alfie's been like in sauna with us. I just clocked it consciously one day. I just realised that like our group is an amazing small group of like-minded people in it, and we'll talk about that, how important it is to find your tribe of people. But I just sat there, I think it was one morning in sauna at JD, and we're all just talking about business and whatever, mindset. And I just clocked Alfie and Cora, and I just thought, I'm glad you're here, mate. Yeah, that's...
Soak it up.
Yeah, soak it up. I just thought, how powerful is it going to be for him to be surrounded by that?
It's funny you say that, because I said to him last night, we were talking about training or something, and I said, like, when I was 15, no one were doing what I was doing. You know, they weren't now getting up at 6 a.m, but I was going to do plyometrics because I run stiff-legged 3 mornings a week, and then I was going out running with a bit of a cult hero around here, a guy called Robert Paradise, Paz, trail runner, boxer, hard nut, who's just take me out all the time and, you know, smash me about in boxing ring. And Alfie went, you can't have been training more than I was. And then I sat and I thought, no, and I went, actually, no, I won't. I said, I went round, I had Paz, but you're around proper savages, where that's normal now. There were no one really, you know, 15, 20 years ago, that wouldn't have been like running groups and loads of people getting it. There would have been odd little cults and cliques of people doing it, but not now as wide known as it is. So, yeah, my big thing is with kids, or with anyone, is it's all about transferable skills of what you spoke about a minute ago from speaking, however. It's not about the work that he's doing on his body or how fit he becomes. I don't really care, because I don't force him to do anything. If I go to track in morning, I'll ask him when I'm at track in morning. Aubrey's already told me she's 100% there. So that's easy. I don't need to push him into doing anything. That's their choice. But as I say to Alpha, it don't matter if you don't become CrossFit world champion or you don't become whatever in CrossFit. It don't matter if you don't do well at your running one day. But all these skills you're learning about, getting up, doing the work, assessing it, redefining it, refining it, and constantly improving. You could do that when you get a job, or you get a business, or you're going to have a career, or in your relationship, or as a parent. There's small fundamental habits that you can constantly refine. It's like doing this podcast. It'll change from day one to now. Those stuff you can't believe we did that in day one. I think as a parent, I want them to know now that I can't believe I used to do that. You know, and I see them doing power habits now that I think, I'd love to have done that as a kid. You know, I'd love that every kid could do this, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't do these habits, that they're sort of normal in their world.
Yeah, constant growth.
Yeah, like just like little simple stuff that they both read every night before bed. That's the last thing they do. And it was a challenge for Alfie, but Aubrey's always done it. They do the journal, because that's a new thing for Alfie now. Since he's grown up, he doesn't do a kid journal now. He's an adult. Aubrey, kid journal every night. Reads a book, because she has they have the door open, so I walk upstairs to bed, I see she'll read a book, and as soon as she shuts that, goes to sleep. And I think they're just stuff that, like, when you get to 30, if you look at life, right, really quickly, we all go to high school, we try to find ourselves, or we are at that moment, and we all want to feel connected to someone. A lot of people lose the respect ultimately for the parents. It's just what happens. Your friends and what they think of you becomes more important than probably what your parents think. That's generally society speaking. Some people then become accepted by those who are doing crime. Some people are getting by those who are testing, you know, messing about drugs. Some people are going to sport, you know, and you find it. You see, I remember at school, we used to play touch rugby every day, didn't it? That were our crew. Right, that's what we did. Me and Brett and a few of us, that were our little crew. Good crew of people. Then you go to college and it's really then finding yourself, because now you're no longer with them friend. What do I want to be? Now shit's getting real now. Then you go through a mad stage, or most people do, from 20 to 30, where maybe they experiment in everything and anything. Then 30 comes and it's like a massive self-development rush, where everyone's going, shit, what do I do? So then it's like meditating, ice bath, sauna, breath work. It's like reading. It's like, I've got a journal, I've got to have a business, I've got to do everything. And it's probably then it's like too much, too quick. And I had this on my podcast the other day, where, like, the CEO morning routine. Like, find within that what works for you. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m, ice bath, cold, hot shower, breath work, meditate, do your journal, do an hour's exercise, all before you do that. You don't need to take your mushroom, whatever else is out there at this moment. You don't need to do all that. Actually, what works for you. And I used to always say, obviously I'm on this Ironman plan, so I'm training, but 5-minute coffee in the morning for me before the world wakes up, just to get my thoughts, because what most people are scared of at the minute, sitting alone with their own thoughts. That's the reason why I go to sauna. It's not for the health benefit, it's for mental benefit, not mental health. There's a big difference between, I like to sit there and go, okay, let's have it then.
Yeah.
You know, what are you insecure about at a minute? What is it? You know, and unpick that. Yeah. If we can now redefine this and get kids doing this at 14, 15, even younger, they get to miss out a stage, don't they?
Yeah.
I know they miss out a stage, they shouldn't go and experiment and have fun. Go do what you want to do, but there's different types of fun now, isn't there?
Yeah, for
different
sure.
ways to live.
Yeah.
You know, go to a CrossFit comp, right, for a full day like half the weekend. You know, that's modern day nightclub now. There's a DJ on, people pumping, everyone's drinking coffee, everyone's just pumping. There's guys and girls in unbelievable shape and not in shape, but everyone's just vibing. Yeah. That's why we're like sitting in a nightclub at 2 a.m, but they're doing it now during day. Yeah. And that's same at an IROX or a marathon event. And like, I just feel like a good culture shift's coming. Yeah. But like, you're either going to be in or in way.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Speaking of all these, you know, where you want to go with things and, you know, the habits and the things of personal achievement, I think that's the thing, touching on what you said there, I think it's, people want to feel that sense of belonging in the world and have some sort of recognition for something instead of just being an ant on a rock and not doing fuck all.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a big self-discovery part of life that happens, you know, where it's like, what am I doing? Who am I? Who do I want to become? And what do I want to be remembered for? A bit of death anxiety thrown in there, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You've had an absolutely mammoth year last year and all the personal achievements. Do you want to just give us a little rundown on, you know, what you've achieved in the last 12 months, different things? Because again, you've said transferable skills, and it's showing that you can go from one thing to another and keep moving forward. And also, what were the highlight for you? What were the best thing out of a personal achievement that you've had?
Big question, that. There's a lot in there. So last year, you know, I never looked at it actually. Now you've said it, you know, it were a crazy year. I'll break it down into sections. So I'll start with what's most important to me, my kids. And I'm sorry if I've gone on about kids. It's just, I think that if you're a good dad, and a good dad means different things, right? If you can, I'm a very flawed human being, like everyone is. I have my insecurities, I'm constantly, but being a parent is something I constantly study, look at, am I getting that right? And I'm fine. Sometimes am I too harsh there or am I too soft there? So, but if you look at being a dad as being a leader, so I think, okay, if I'm like that with my kid, how can I transfer that into my businesses, right? So kids, beginning of the year, I've got a video of them running, both look awful, no offence to them, by end of the year, smashing PBs, and they've just constantly grinded. So that'd be my biggest win, right? I mean that, like, I was emotional when I thought about it every day about the growth of them. And they might hit a certain age and stop doing it, but you know what, it was a period in time, and it was nice. Then amongst that, my business grew from being me, you know, going around talks and workshops and you know, and bringing people in and deliver workshops, to then having 9 of us out every single day, all over UK, Ambler training, BU schools. It was just a mad year. And then Andy's Man Club went from 21 staff to 38 staff by end of the year. And we went from something like 150 clubs to 240 clubs by end of the year. You know, helping 6,000 men a year. 6,000 men a week even. Yeah. So that was just exponential growth. But then you mix in some like highlights for me, and when you said about being yourself, this will epitomise being yourself. A little story for you. So I got invited to be an advisor to our health minister for this country, right? So I'd go down to Westminster and I didn't wear a suit. I wear what I normally wear, which is black cargo pants, a pair of Nike Dunks and a black t-shirt. And I rocked up there, and I always remember I'm in this room in Paul Culis' house, which is one of the rooms where you all sit, and on this TV there's doctors from Oxford and everywhere, all these people, everyone's contributing. And I'd contributed a few times and everyone were really engaged with it. But there were a bit at the end where the MP says, I think we should share what we've done here because it's been really powerful. And I said, yeah, just jump in there. I said, yeah. I said, I think you should share it because I thought this was going to be bullshit. I'll be honest with you. I thought MPs, government sat around, it's usually a load of shit. It's a tick box exercise. Actually, this is really valuable. I can actually see that you're okay. They're all laughing. The health minister, who's at that point free to left on Rishi Sunak on all things, says, I think what Luke has had a great contribution there. We maybe shouldn't use his caption for the picture. And I thought to myself, then I was driving on the next meeting down south with Cade, a friend and a staff member, and we've got the meeting on, and this is where it's funny. We've got the meeting on a Zoom call, but we haven't got the video on. The health minister starts referencing, as Luke Ambler said last week, what we have to do to engage men is X, and he's looking at me going, what the fuck? Because you've got to be yourself. I go there and I don't pretend to be anything I'm not. I just go there, this is who I am, like it or lump it, don't like me, don't invite me to the next meeting. If you do, I'm going to tell you what, I might tell you what you don't want to hear, but that's how it's going to be.
Still real.
So I think when I look at that as a highlight, because I thought that were the echelons of, like, in my world, of mental health and health, of advising the government. I don't really get it, so I'm going there, but I'm going there as Luke Ambler, as in me. I'm not going there as Luke Ambler Mental Health Campaign. I turned up in a suit, I've now CEO of a voluntary CEO of a charity, I've got to go pretend to be something I'm not. I'm going to go there and give them a fucking realist and rawest version of myself. But actually, one of the highlights of the whole year, it won, you know, and I did, you know, I achieved some goal, I had a good IROC season, I got a good marathon time that I wanted. But actually, we did a partnership with Man City, and I'm not a football fan, but I got to learn from a variety of different aspects about what world class means. So when we got to the game, what they invited us to, me and two Andy's Man Club staff, and I brought Alfie, and one of the lads brought his son, is like the way they rolled the blue carpet out, we'll call it, and they made us feel so special. Even though we didn't ask them for anything, they just wanted Andy's Man Club involved, right? And the journey goes, MD really wanted to interview me, so I'm sat with MD of Man City and he's interviewing me, like as if I'm the person he wanted, which were mad. We talked, they couldn't believe about what AMC was, and I'm sat in Man City overlooking their training ground on one side, stadium on the other, and he's saying to me, you can't believe what we've built. We then go about what we're going to do. We then invite us down to Tunnel Lounge. We get walked in where all players walk in, all crowds there, then go upstairs, they put us in a box, and it wasn't about the money of putting us in a box, it was about the way they made us feel. Went on pitch to the talk, and it was like a moment where I went, shit, how mad is this? Like 55,000 people here with our logo up on board, Andy's Man Club going round, and then as all this has happened, Luke, I look over, and a kid who went to a school in Oldham, who then went to Andy's Man Club when he left, has got an OK sign tattooed here, and I know a person at that group, his family's always said it saved his life. So you've got all this, what people think's big. I look at him and think, that's why we do what we do. And for me, it was like, fucking, this is why we do it. And there's a photo of me and Alfie on pitch together doing this, and I actually ended up finding the picture, but I rewound in my own mind 8 years to when me and him, just 3 months after Andy died, are holding hands at Ogden, about to do first ever Andy story video, and just the journey, what he's been around to now he's out on that pitch, just saying that what consistency can consistently, you know, if you consistently true to your message, that's why Andy's Man Club's worked. Because, and that's why I think anything works, is if you go, this is where we're headed, we're going to fucking get roadblocks, aren't we? It's going to change on a daily basis, we're going to get people throwing shit at us for no reason at all, and we're going to have to just ignore it and bite it off. We're just going to have to keep going, and we're going to have to go over there at one point because that road's blocked, and we have to test everybody. If your mission is what your mission is, and your vision is what your vision is, you just find a way. Everything around his Man Club, you know, contrary to belief, has been done on a gut feeling. Yeah. And I think when you say what's, you know, you've been more successful here, it's just seeing growth in leaders within AMC, growth within my own organisations, and my kids. Like that, I'd sum it up. And if give a short answer is what's been growth.
Yeah, love that, mate. One of the biggest standout things when I look at you is, like you said, you are who you are, and you're not pretending to be anyone else. You're not conforming into little pockets of different people and, you know, being that sort of chameleon character. I'm just thinking, I've been guilty of this in the past. I'm sure a lot of people who are listening have potentially putting a censorship over your own personality and changing who you are in different environments. Now, why is that a bad idea, do you think?
The censorship?
Yeah.
I think it's got its place. I think, you know...
within reason.
You know, how I expect my kids to be, you know, how I maybe allow them to hold themselves, and maybe there's certain bits that they need to do at school. You know, maybe language, you know, I might say, oh, come on, off that shit. I don't expect him to go to his teacher and say, miss, come on, that shit. There's certain standards, isn't there, you know, and he can use it out. I think, you know, you've got to be comfortable in who you are before you can be uncensored.
That's a journey, yeah? That's a big journey.
There's a great saying though, is If Alex O'Keefe is seen as a good businessman by guys that make it up, joinery next door, you will, because this is how it goes. It's not what you think they think you are. It's not what you think they are. It's what you think they think you are. So now you've got to go in there and pretend to be something because that's what they think you are. You know, if Luke Ambler is seen as a confident leader at AMC, I can't go in and be anything other, can I? So that's just what we do in it, and you know, we play the character of what we think the person thinks we are. So if the person thinks you're really lively and energetic, you'll walk into a certain coffee shop lively and energetic. You know, next day someone goes, super chilled, Alex, and a really nice guy. You can go in there, super chilled and nice guy. But actually, go in there and be who you are on that day. You know, that's my big thing. I think people are going to... I think where it really comes from is, and I'll just tell you straight, when I started on this man club, I got fucking a lot of hate. This guy's killing it off, it's okay to talk, this guy's killing his man club. You know, I got letters through the door saying you're a fraud, like, you won't believe the amount of shit I got. At one point I did a video, I said, his man club ruined my life, because it did, like, brought my relationship down, because I was obsessed about trying to help people. And I thought to myself, why the fuck would I now, no matter what I've done to try to do something nice and still do shit, gives a fuck. Let's now actually just fully own who you are, because people are going to like you or dislike you based on what someone else has told them of you anyway, regardless. So who gives a shit? And I know we've had these conversations where, but I just want to really leave it on a nice note. It's not going to be a nice note. They're going to think of what they think of you, regardless if you go and buy them a coffee and tell them it's all going to be okay. They're just going to think how they think of you, because they're going to go home. If you and Dan decide to break up, Dan's going to go home and tell his partner a few things, venting about you. She knows perception here. No matter what you go say to her, she's got Dan's corner. And now when that escalates, and you know, and a lot of times it's just a passing comment. If I saw Dan, he's like, "Oh, you doing much?" Like, nah, we're parted ways, mate. Didn't see eye to eye. He's a bit wild, you know. It's a part. The next week we're talking about how his kids are doing at football. Didn't mean not bad by you. He was just telling me, you know. And I've seen that happen with friendship groups. My own friendship group. Oh, I've seen so and so's got really fit on steroids, or anything. I thought, and I was saying, I thought, you know. And they go, what, because I thought, you know, and I think it's a passing comment that no one dares challenge stuff. And I'll tell you a good one. No.
Correct. Nice done.
100%. I'll tell you a quick funny one about this mentality of people. I sat in a sauna once, holiday, and 2 old women are in there, and they're just going on and on about, they're just moaning about it. Fair enough, they do it when I'm just chilled out, sat in car. And they said this comment. One of them said, yeah, well, Martin Lewis said this over there. You know Martin Lewis is, money saving expert. The other one said, yeah, well, he's a fraud, innit? So one said she liked him, then she's a fraud, then she agreed, yeah, I get what you mean. So I went, just jump in there, ladies. Why is he a fraud? Well, you know, some of his have this, that. I went, right, no one does all just for good of it. I went, oh, but this time Kevin Sinfield's just doing all stuff for Rob. I said, well, that's different, he's a rugby player. Rugby players always, you don't see that from football. I said, whoa, let's just stop a sec. And I said, I run a charity and I get this type of shit, people say stuff. I said, I've never made a penny. You know, and I do it for goodness of my heart. And then they just sort of like looked and they went, so funny, one of them went, you might be right. They went, actually, I want you to use this advice and save some money. Alright? So I went, and I just said to her, I said, and that's the problem. It's quite easily how one person says a negative comment, and just to fit in with her, which you just did. These were older women, and I'm talking like retired. I said, you now just said agreed with her to fit in. I said, actually, what should I do is challenge him. I said, actually, he's all right. He won't save me some money. No one dares do that now.
So true, man. I think people just go along with it just because it's like a subconscious thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, is that what you think?
They don't want potential confrontation.
Yes.
Another good thing which I appreciate from you is you challenge me a lot. You challenge all of our little friendship group, and I think that's a true friend. You know, someone that doesn't always just tickle your balls, shall we say?
Yeah, that's just occasionally that one.
Just occasionally. Yeah.
I think if you challenge, do you know where that comes from? Rugby. So if someone cared about you, challenge you. You're around someone like Kevin Sinfield, I think you could be better at running, passing, kicking, tackling. So I'm going to tell you, but not. There's different ways to tell different people. Some people are like, mate, I'm playing shit today, what are you doing? Soft. All right, I can't believe him thinking I'm soft. He might come up to you and whisper in your ear, just a little message. Have you ever thought about doing this? You ever thought about doing it? Danny Badira's same. But Ambler, are you free today? Do you want to come on computer and we'll go through a bit of footage? But here, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Challenging you. And I think that I owe a lot to Leeds. One of the worst things that happened, me getting let go. But actually, the time I were there, one of the best things ever. I always think that Andy's Man Club culture's built on Leeds Rhinos culture. The Leeds Rhinos where I were there, where people care about each other. in that space, and they challenge each other a bit better. And if they're not challenging, I say it to staff all the time, like, challenge isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
People view challenge as criticism, and you're talking bad about me, and you think, no, challenge. If I'm not challenging you, or if someone's not challenging you, they don't really care about you.
Yeah.
Some parts shot back as it's going to be okay, when in reality it's not. That's not right. Yeah. Actually, it's not going to be okay. You've just lost your mom. You've just gone through an heartbreak with your partner. Yeah. It's going to be fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, what are you going to do about it? And that, that's challenging it.
Yeah.
But whatever you're going to do, I'm here with you.
Yeah.
We're going to run that hill together. We're going to go through that shit. I mean, I've got your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you keep doing the same thing over and over, it's not going to change, is it? And I think challenging people that say, actually, Alex, have you thought about this? Come on. How is it going to affect your family? How is it going to do this? And I think people who challenge you are the ones who care about you most.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love the fact that you said AMC is probably modelled on the Leeds Rhinos culture. Now, I heard someone talk about it recently, like, wherever you are in life, whatever you go through, you don't know what skill you're picking up right there.
Correct.
That you could then use further on down the line. You're always picking things up, aren't you? So it's just like, wherever you are right now, it's not going to be your final destination, but what can you learn right now? Do you know Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
See the story of that? So it's basically 12 random occurrences that happened in his life that he didn't think anything about, ended up being the 12 answers that he had the answer to.
Yes.
To win the $1 million throughout his life.
Yes.
So he subconsciously picked that up.
It's a deep analogy for life, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you'll have all been through stuff where at time, worst thing I wish it hadn't happened, then you go, well, it has happened, what can I learn from it? And you don't learn from it there and then, you don't really learn from that death there, and then you don't learn from that breakup, you don't learn from that manager who's treated you like an absolute dog. But what happens is 10 years down the line, when you're managing people, you go, am I being a bit like him here? Let's hold it back. Yeah. Come in and apologise, I maybe didn't communicate that properly there. And I still get it wrong all the time. Yeah. I think that's the thing when you're leading people, like, one stretch, it's like, you're getting it right in some cases, and there's different personalities as well, but I think you just do learn along the way of like what works, what doesn't, what you don't want to be like, what you do want to be more like, and try to be on that as much as you can. And understand that you're going to fuck up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And if you think you're it perfect, you're deluded.
That's if you've got big goals, particularly leading people, because there's so many different dynamics going on, including your own emotions on a day-to-day basis, never mind other people, and what they're going to bring to the table. So, there's all those factors to consider, isn't there, when we're talking about constant growth and development. Yes. And then when it comes to other people and that management of that, and acknowledging that it's okay to fuck up. We're all going to do it. 100%. We're going to do it regular, and that's okay as long as we try right the wrongs. I'm guessing is what you're saying there, and break yourself down. I often try to tell people to have moments with yourself, like go for a coffee with yourself. Yes. And sit down and think about what you're doing and these goals that you've got. Is this the direction that you want to go in? Is this, filling your cup in all areas? Because if it isn't and it's stretching you too much, you probably want to pull back a bit and water that part of the garden. Correct. A bit more, and all those sorts of things. So, having those thoughts and taking yourself away. Cold water's great for that as well. It brings you right into the present moment. You get out of your fuzzy head immediately with that sort of thing. I want to talk about stress and stress management. Just very briefly, name a time that's been like one of the worst things like that you've had to go through, and then what are the stress management strategies that you have?
Yeah. See, that's interesting because from 8 years old, I'd say, like, if you actually redefined it and went back, the worst thing that happened was getting told Mum's been in a car accident. They got to hospital and seeing her in hospital for months with some brain damage and her leg smashed up, and then drop attacks. She's been stuck in her house in the front room when chip pan was setting on fire and she blacked out and it's burning down around her. So introduced to a lot of trauma from a young age. So I won't view anything now, and this is where it's hard sometimes. Alex would say to me, and we've had this eventually, what would you do? I said, you don't know what I'd do because we're different, and I can't tell you what I'd do because how my mind might work, is different to what you'd do. You've got to do. What your question you got to ask is, what would I do if I was you? Do you understand the difference there? Me knowing Alex and knowing his situations in his own life, his business life, what would I do if I were Alex? Because Luke, who shoots from hip and might do it a different way, is not going to be that guy. So everything that happened always seemed at the time to be the worst thing that could have happened. And I've done it where I'm in a car crash, I comfort it, right? I get let go from the dry nose. I binge drink, I don't even drink, right? I can also comfort it, blown in size. There's been a series of things that, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't want people to think because of the job I do that I'm perfect and I always get it nailed and I'm always on it. There's been a series of shit that happened, but the one that I felt that maybe at times I got right or had built me to the point is I'd gone through all this shit and then Andy died. And I had a question, and the question was, what are you going to do about it? What's next? What are you going to do about it? Because as a man now you need to step up. You know, your missus just lost a little brother. Your family's just lost the son. Your family's lost, Alfred's lost his favourite uncle. What are you going to do about it? And then it was like, well, let's try to stop this problem. So that was one. Where I struggle, different to most people, is if this place starts setting on fire now, I'm sweet. I'll find us a way out. I'm good. Like same with AMC. Like the more problems you bring me, the better I am. Get me answer 10 emails. I can't answer 10 emails and 10 Facebook messages at once like that. The small little thing. So for me, what I think you've got to do is and we have this, Alex, so what's your strength? Yeah. What can I do? What am I going to do? And then you've got to create teams around you, even or tasks around. So even with you two, what can I do? But the first thing I always try to do when I'm stressed, because the stress I'm probably thinking about isn't big. You said there, I think that's why I've gone around the house. You said, what's the last big thing? There wasn't one. The last big thing was 10 years ago around that. Other than that, it's... In fact, no, because I know it asks, the biggest stress I've had and the one where I crumbled was Lisa give birth to Ada. And I'll just set the picture for you. When, you might not even know, so when I had my first child, Alfred's my stepson, when I had my first daughter, a 6-month-old, the short version goes, Lisa had a bit of an asthma flare-up, went to the doctor, sent her to hospital. She texted me saying she's going to be fine. She's a bit like a bloke in that way, and everything's always okay, I'll be fine, don't worry about it. I get to the hospital, and lucky I got there at the time because her oxygen levels are plummeted, she couldn't breathe. They rush her off into intensive care, and they bring me into a room and basically they tell me, you might have to say goodbye here. It's a 5-minute window, it's going to go either way. Because I'm saying, I was a baby. I said, look, 5-minute window, it could go either way. This is before Andy died. I was an emotional wreck, right? I've just told me my missus going to die. It's got 5-minute window. Just told me, she's going to be gone and I don't even have her yet. I had to ring Lisa's mum, who was telling me, like, calm down, like, she needs you to be strong, right? She's mad, like, she needs you to be, you know what I'm saying? They saved her life. Fast forward then to my next daughter. Lisa got pre-eclampsia really bad. My legs were like something you'd never seen. It was something in a movie, like the clumps. She couldn't even walk. She gives birth, great birth. Next minute, she stands up to go to the toilet with nurse. Bucket of blood. It's literally, it's all up my legs, blood everywhere. It's just all over the floor. I looked down, nurse said hit panic button now. Flashback. Boom. Next minute, doctors come in, put her down. She's gone. Like she's out cold. She basically had a blood clot in her womb, which is the highest risk to a death of a woman after. Life lesson. I'm going through my head going, fuck, I've still got to bring this girl up. I've still got to bring this my little daughter's there. I can't look at her right now because of this, but she's there. I think my hand's going like that with her. And I'm looking, and because I'd been really loud like I am and thing, the nurse noticed, right, it's the coolest thing ever, this horrible explanation to Lisa didn't me tell you this. Nurse looked at me and just says, sorry, the doctor went, is he okay? And she went, are you okay? I went, like that. And he went, what's his name? And this is doctor, right? Bear in mind, he's got his arm in my missus. Right? The arm there, he's removing the clots by hand.
Wow. By
hand. And he looks at me. Coolest thing ever, right? You talk about in a crisis. You talk about things. He looks at me and he goes, Luke, look at me. I went, yeah, he goes, do I look panicked? Do I look stressed? I went, no. He goes, I'm paid to be stressed. I'm not stressed. Turned back, moved clots, took his gloves off, threw them on the floor, she's sound and walked out. And I realised, and I tell my kids all the time, panic creates panic. So when you're in a moment of stress, breathe. What can I do in this moment? It'll fucking give me goosebumps now thinking about coolest fucker I'd ever met. And boom, takes his gloves off, just literally from it bin, walked out, job done, on to the next room. And it just in that moment I thought, panic creates panic, stress creates stress, breathe, and say, what am I going to do about it? The same lesson I've been teaching. So if anything ever happens now, I just go, what can I do about it? I know it's bullshit, control the controllables, because it's not, because people say control the controllables, you're in a relationship breakdown. You might not be having your partner back, you might not be able to control your partner. That's not what control means. What it means is what can I personally do to make this situation the best I can, without my partner's influence, without the government's influence, doctor's influence, school's influence. What can I do? Sometimes it's just, I can breathe. And when you turn it to breathe, turn it to a smile. right? Get your fucking self back regulated. What can I do about it? I can't do anything about it. Go for a walk. Right? Think about it. Take your moment to yourself. And sometimes you just got to have an acceptance that maybe what you want to change can't. But that was something that were a real powerful moment, and it's something I bypass a lot about the significance of those two events on my life, because it was much more, it wasn't about me, it was about them. And suddenly everything that you think you've got were about to be lost. And that doctor, man, so cool.
Shout out to that doctor.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Gangster.
So cool.
Wow.
That is cool.
Sorry about the graphic about his arm in your Lisa.
In a professional setting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard you tell that one before, man. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful.
And it probably
What's
then
next?
probably then adds up to why certain situations I look like and misses it, so you don't give a fuck about. I do, but I don't care about everything.
Yeah.
But I also don't care about everything because it could be over tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm saying it.
Good perspective, innit?
Absolutely. What's the next 5 years looking like for you?
So Dan, I never do this.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't really.
Okay.
Because it changes daily, mate.
Yeah.
I'm on a government contract right now that changes by the hour. So 5 years from now, mate, I have no idea. I just know I'll be better than I am now. That's one thing.
In what way?
In every way. You know, I'll be better dad, because I'll have 3 teenagers, or I'll have a grown up. So I'll be different stages again. I'll be a better leader, and his man club will have grown. You know, we aim to hit his 500th group by his 10th birthday, which is only 18 months away. So the next year, if he actually says, what's the year goal? Because I think I like to take it year by year, me, because what I've noticed is that you guys 5 years ago didn't do this. And if you'd have said to you, 5 year goal, you'd have never said, oh, we're going to have a podcast in a sauna, it's our sauna that we sell now. It wouldn't have been a thing, would it?
No.
Right? With a guy who loves saunas.
Exactly.
It just wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we've got a 5 year goal, they're not understanding that parent could die, could break up your partner. You could suddenly want to go and live off and go to ayahuasca in the middle of the jungle, and that could be me. I could end up going living off in my camper van because something tragic happened. Who knows? Touch what it done. So I think this year is all about Mission Possible. And what's Mission Possible? It's about redefining what you think's possible.
Yeah.
I'm doing 5 UK Ironman, and I'll tell you why, because I don't want to do them. And I'm not doing them because I don't want to do them. I'm doing them because a friend is doing them, and I said I better do it with you since you're doing it for my charity. But I don't want to do them. I can't think of what worse. But now I'm in the process. I'm in the training. I'm in the pool this morning. So I'm ready to dance now. I'm ready to see what's possible.
Yeah.
Mixing that, I've got 3 half marathons, a marathon, Yorkshire 3 Peaks, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of other stuff that I get dragged into along the way.
Yeah.
This year is all about, I keep saying it in my journal, I write it every night. At a minute I've wrote it. At his man club, every Monday we answer the questions that the guys are going to answer at night, but in the staff chat. And on a Friday we do a check-in. And I've used this word, it keeps called momentum. I feel like personally in all areas of my life, I'm in a period of momentum. I'm in a period of momentum as a parent, I'm in a period in business, but momentum comes and goes. So it's like enjoying it while you're in period, because to get the ball rolling, it took a lot of effort. It's going to come and end at some point. The contract we're on, and we'll move on to something else. And his man club will have another challenge. We might end up diversifying, going to another contract. You know, there'll be challenges along the way. But while we've got this momentum, I want to enjoy it. I think too often we're looking like, what can I achieve by end of year, rather than going, what can I get done this week?
Yeah.
So at the minute, I'm just taking,
Yeah.
and that's the good thing about being on a training plan. So on a Ironman plan, you get your session every week. So every Sunday, your session goes in. So it's like, okay, what am I doing this week? Charlotte, we just saw outside. We're talking about what's going on next week. So, and if you put enough good weeks together, your year will take care of itself. And then I think in 5 years' time, you'll be wherever you want to be, because in the first 5 years, and I keep using his man club as the great analogy, we had a goal to open 10 clubs in 5 years. We opened 50. We're open 50 in the first 3 months of this year. So you just never know what could come and what momentum you can get. So for anyone listening who's like on a standing start, just start getting that momentum.
Yeah.
And if you want to go run a marathon, don't start with a marathon. Go and just have a walk today. Tomorrow walk a little bit further, then have a little jog until you get to a point where maybe in 5 years' time you're ready to run a marathon and comfortably and enjoy it. That's where I'm at, about enjoyment.
Nice.
I'm also going to do a shitload of camping this year as well.
Yes.
Shitload of camping.
That's the one.
Fresh air, out in the open.
100%.
Do you know what? That was an absolutely perfect answer for me, because I ask people that question and I'm intrigued to know what their response is. But that is absolutely me in a nutshell, because I lost my mum within a 2 week period. Out of out of the blue, 46 years of age, and she were grinding hard for a pension that she never got.
Yes.
And she was due to retire at the age of 50, and she passed away at 46, and she's got this goal to move to France. And that were there, do you know what I mean? It was further down the line, and I was getting a little bit older, so it was one of those where I could stand on my own 2 feet, and then that were her dream. That's what she wanted to do, and she never got there. So it really made me shift and bring it right back to the present, and enjoy the wins and the losses and everything else that's beautiful about life, you know what I mean?
Correct.
But that there is absolutely like me in a nutshell, and I wasn't looking for that.
No,
I were intrigued about what your vision is.
About that as well.
But it's life, and it's what's brought me here as well, as who I've become as well because of it. But yeah, that is to a T, because we just don't know what's round the corner, do we? So
and that's where the what's next, I think, helps you overcome something. So my mum's died. What can I do next now? But then there's a further development which I don't speak enough about. What my theories is what now. So I'm looking at what's next, what I can do next to get better from a negative sense. But a lot of the time what I'm focusing on is what can I do now. So, you know, today, great example, it won't be time relevant, but got a bit of space in my diary. My partner just lost a grandma. We used to try and do something on a Wednesday if schedules allow. Let's go for some lunch and walk dog today. That's now, that's today, you know. And more of them I can rack up, hopefully a better relationship will be, you know, more times like tonight, you know, I've got a bike session to do. If I can get that in at a relevant time, more time with kids. We'll play Uno tonight. And it's like really enjoying now, not really worrying about tomorrow, because, you know, tragically we might get that call today, because we're going to get that call. And then how did it change again? So let's just grab each moment now while we can and enjoy it.
yeah, amen to that.
And accept that it's going to be shit as well.
Yeah.
So I also want to don't paint a picture like someone sat going, well, it's alright saying that, but I'm going through a breakup right now, I'm going through a debt problem. Right now you are.
Yeah.
But there's time yet.
I think that's the beauty of doing hard things on the regular as well. You know, not wanting to do the Ironman. Each step you're thinking, fucking hell, my ankle's hurting here or whatever, and you're ignoring it and you're going through it. Really?
Top of my foot is
Just feeling this energy.
Yeah.
No, but you know, and again reiterating the point of hard things daily.
Yes.
It sets you up for this shit as well that we might have to encounter at some point. Every human has to encounter some shit at some stage, unfortunately. But you know what we're going to do about it.
Correct.
What are we going to do about it? So yeah, we're coming close to.
Yeah, I think
wrapping
that's
it
a
up,
nice.
aren't we,
I think that's a nice way to wrap it up. Really, it's a really nice message, mate. And again, talking about the goal setting, again, you challenge the norm on that. It is more just about what can you do right now? What can I do today? What can I do this week? That's where my mind's gone.
What's your 2 goals this year? That'd be a nice way to wrap up for me and most boys. What's your 1 year goal? What's your right now goal?
We've just done a podcast on it, haven't we? Our last podcast was talking about that, you know, starting the year, what your intentions are, what things that you're trying to do, what you're looking forward to. We didn't divulge in our personal...
That's a personal tell us. Because I think what you achieve doesn't really matter. When you asked me that stuff before, it's who you become in process, isn't it? So
Correct.
who are you going to become this year?
Correct.
Yeah, so I look at distributing my my goals around the garden of life. So it's like, family, what am I going to do this year? I want to take my kids on an experience that they've not had before. You know, and I've got my sights set on that, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. My kids are growing up, you know, similar age to yours actually. And it's like, you know, you have these small pockets of time where they're going to get to a point where they don't want to go on holiday with dad anymore, you know, and those days are coming. So, you know, I want to have something that's memorable for us. So that's in the bank. I've got some different fitness goals I'm trying to go for. I've got a competition, my first competition of the year this week, and some other things set with my community. And then we've got some business goals for Immerse as well. So, you know, we've got goals in different pockets.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And again, it can change, and that's okay. Things will progress or degress, and then it's like, right, duck and weave and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Like say what Dan says. Family goals, we want to move house this year.
Yes.
You know, Jess wants that a lot, so we're going to make that happen this year.
You got that in for her, didn't you?
Yes, there you go.
That's for you.
Cam. So we're going to move house.
Our ambush.
We're going to move house as a family, which is a big step.
Big.
That's the family goal.
Now that's stress.
Now that's going to be a stress.
Remember, breathe and smile.
What now? What next?
Don't
From
panic.
a personal fitness point, myself and one of our good mates, Dan Keane, we're doing doubles high rocks in Berlin. So we're going to set a target to be on the podium there,
Nice.
which is nice.
You have just set a target to be on the plane. That house don't get moved. You aren't even on the plane, mate. But if he moves his house and he's on the plane, they will be on the podium.
Yeah.
The challenge is getting him on the plane. But he will be on the podium if he's on the plane.
Yes, there you go. So there's a family, fitness, and our business goals is we've set a kind of a financial target for the year for the business.
You know, I love that.
And also my other business, my window cleaning company, I want to get to the stage where I don't have to be on the tools this year. That's a big goal for me. So I can free up some more time to focus on Immerse the Brand, the podcast.
Yes.
More time with family. And yeah, that's my goal, mate. That's my goals this year.
Love that. Watch the space for the boys. They're coming.
There we go.
Do you want to do the honours, Luke, and just do a little bit of
Pour us on, mate, to see us off.
Yeah, just watch that hand.
Over and out. Thank you, everybody.
Peace out.
Beautiful.
Now into the ice room.
Nice one.
It's sweaty there. Oh.